So how long have you been playing Arc Warden then?
I have 20 to 15 games, which isn't a lot.
Yeah. I imagine probably the whole microing element is still pretty rough then.
For me, it is the first 5 waves, I think.
Oh, okay.
And I think and I think that this is my theory on Dota like in general. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like 99% of games comes down to the first few waves.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm. Interesting.
and I feel like I am not strong in that like at all. And in this game, I get obliterated by this Huskar. Um,
What is your
by
disruptor
like
doing?
he's chilling.
Is this like
There was
dual
so much
mid?
chaos.
Dual
Yeah,
mid?
pretty much.
I'm supporting you now. You should go tell him to pull.
He does pull. I
He
think he
is
does
pulling.
pull.
Wait, what the
Oh,
fuck?
oh yeah,
Wait a minute.
here he
What is...
comes.
Oh, he's
And then
leaving.
he TPs.
You know what would be the next level play is to TP out of vision so Huskar doesn't know if he's still here. It's like, God damn, is
That
that
would be
fucking
true,
disruptor still here? Fuck.
yeah.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Okay. I'm not sure I agree with you that that games are decided, or that so much of the games is decided on the first five waves. Definitely
Mm,
important,
mm.
but what is this shit?
Okay.
I yeah, they're definitely important, but I don't think they're everything. Um, so yeah, we'll see what happens here. I
I
do
just think that
like.
they just. Mm,
Sorry,
sorry.
you go.
No, go on ahead. No, I'm being coached. You tell me.
Okay. I do like that you use basically all of your resources on the first wave. I think that's something that people are afraid of. Like, they want to save their mana. Like, oftentimes I'll see people like sitting on like wave three, and they like have full mana, and it's like, oh, that's not what you want to do. I
Mm,
oftentimes I will make it my goal to spend almost all of my mana on the first wave. Um, especially as a hero who can get so much out of mana. So I think that's good.
mm.
Um, what were you saying?
Uh, no, I just think that the first wave or the first few waves decide so much about momentum in the mid lane. Like if you get
Mm-hmm.
like an earlier bottle, then that can just so much is snowballing. I
Sure.
mean, I think mid there's so much snowballing like related to that.
I
Like if you
agree.
can then yeah.
Yeah. The only
If
thing I would say is that man, this guy really hates wards. Holy shit. Um, the one thing I would say is that there is a significant, like, the further ahead someone is, the more
mm,
you get for killing them, right? And
mm,
so while
mm,
it is true that theoretically someone who is ahead should win, like whoever wins the first wave should win the rest of the lane, maybe.
mm.
Um
So here oh, don't look.
that's
Amazing
fine.
bubble. Bye bye.
Yeah,
And
almost.
now the game is almost over because now he has almost 6.
Yeah, I would
And I'm
encourage
level
you not to
4.
think like that. I would encourage you not to think like
Okay.
that. I
Yeah.
think even if you might be right, and I'm not saying you are, but even if you were right that the lane is just over, I don't think
Mm.
it's productive to think like that. I think you
For
can
sure.
I think you can say like, "Oh man, this lane is really hard now. What can I do to fix this?" I think
Mm.
that's
Mm.
how I would encourage you to think. Um
Mm.
because you're absolutely right that the lane is really hard, and once he gets 6, it you might just start chain dying. But I would encourage you to just focus on, like, okay, what can I do now? Like, what is my next play? Like, how can I
Mm.
get out of this? That's what I would like you to think about more and focus on more than thinking about like, you shouldn't be delusional and be like, "Oh, yeah, dude, I've died twice. This lane is going great." Like, that's not what I'm
Mm.
saying. Um but you do want to you do want to think about how can I get out of this? Like what are my
Mm,
next timings? Are there any items that I can do to make this better? Something like that.
mm,
Um, so yeah, so let's look at this lane in particular. So,
mm.
Huskar, you go double bracer. What's your thinking behind that?
Uh, magic damage, bracer better. But for the HP region, but it doesn't do anything because I still can't trade. I feel like.
I agree.
Tell,
I
yeah.
agree. So bracers,
What do you think?
I was just talking
Uh,
about that with the last guy. So
uh,
bracers, the way I think about bracers is like, why do I buy bracers over anything else? Well, like let's look at this. Well, let's see our other options. This one, you're a universal hero, and so like the stats don't really matter. They all give you the same amount of stats, but Wraithband gives you more attack speed and armor.
mm,
Bracers give you health, max health and health regen, and then Null Talismans give you mana. And
mm,
so, unfortunately, the Bracer health regen bonus just is pretty much useless.
mm,
Um, I mean, it's basically a little more than one health regen. It's like 1.25 health regen. Like basically that means every minute you're getting an extra 60 health. It's like, okay, that's cool, I guess.
yeah.
A bottle on the
And
other
here he
hand gives
comes.
you
Look,
like,
I got double bracer.
yeah, a bottle on the
Running
other
for my
hand
life.
gives you a lot more health and mana, of course.
Yeah, true.
So bracers aren't really a good sustain item. I think about bracers as being something that you buy if you're afraid of getting bursted at a specific timing.
Mm,
So for
okay.
example, Queen of Pain with her ulti, Lena with Laguna Blade, stuff like this. But Huskar, I guess he bursts you, but really, the interesting thing about Huskar is that the dynamic that changes is that with Huskar, it's not about like are you going to get bursted? It's about who can kill the other one faster,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
And
true.
so
Very
like
true.
yeah, and
Yeah.
so like when you're playing against Queen of Pain, if she just fucking Sonic waves you, it's like there's no you're not fighting back there. It's just like,
Yeah.
okay, I guess I'm Sonic waved, lol, you basically just want to like not get you just want to make sure you don't die to that. And so in those
Mm,
situations, the extra max HP and the extra health regen is actually the health regen there is really important because the health regen keeps you at a high HP while the
mm,
max HP is going to make that upper bound higher basically. Um, and so again, against Huskar, what you want to be thinking about is how do I end up like making these trades? So first of all, how do I trade with him in general? Because before you get 6, usually he's not all inning you. He's only gonna all in
mm,
you if he thinks that he can kill you. Um,
mm.
and so you want to think about like first of all, how can I set up good trades so that he doesn't feel like if he all ins me, he can kill me because
Yeah.
he's
And then
lower.
eventually win the trades, I guess.
Yeah,
Or
yeah, and like the goal at some point is to get to the point where you're so far ahead. So if you end up getting to the point where he feel like he can't really trade against you, then he's whenever he kills you, it's going to have to be full to 0, which gives your supports the opportunity to rotate because that's going to take longer. But then you
mm,
can hopefully get to the point where since you are so far ahead, um, then he doesn't feel like he can do that without dying first. That's like
yeah.
how you want to look at Huskar lanes. So
Mm,
I like that you went magnetic field. I do think that you misused it significantly, and we'll talk
yeah.
about that. Um, but another thing is that like let's think about some better items that you could buy here. So if you understand why Bracer is not a good option, then like what do you think would
Yep.
be some good items that would make your trading better or make you more scary against him?
I mean, you're talking like early trades, like right now
Mm-hmm.
trades. I mean, I would rather have a double wraith band. Like, I
Sure.
think I could have killed him if I had double wraith band. I also saw your videos later, sawing the corrosion, the
Mm-hmm.
corrosion option route. But I
Mm-hmm.
think in looking at this, I feel like if these were double wraith band, I think I could have killed them. Like
Mm-hmm.
when at least like he kills me, I kill him. That sort of thing.
I agree that
There's
Wraith Band is in general a better trading item because of the armor and the attack speed it gives you. So you're absolutely right, and I
uh,
agree that Wraith Band would have been a better choice. I
uh,
think so. Now transitioning into the whole magnetic field thing, I think corrosion though ends up being the best item specifically because of how it enables you to use magnetic field. So first of all, corrosion, great. It
can
gives
you
you
help me understand that? Yeah, sorry.
yeah, so corrosion
Sorry.
is
Yeah.
just a good item. Like I think because it gives you 7 agility, which is a little more than 1 armor, 7 attack speed, gives you like 3 damage, which is good. Of course, the main reason you're buying it is because of this corrosion passive, um, which is specifically good against ranged heroes, which slows them and reduces their healing and reduces their armor. All of these things are good against Huskar. Huskar has low base armor. He doesn't he he relies heavily on healing. And basically being able to kite him is extremely powerful. Um and the way that this is going to work with magnetic field. So let's look at the situations where you do use magnetic field because I think you're right to prioritize getting it. But let's look at some of your magnetic field usages. And I think this is something that a lot of people struggle with, and it is like for sure, it is for sure one of the things that makes this matchup hard because like it's difficult to do this properly.
I
So
was gonna say. Oh, sorry. Go on.
so here he walks up and um he walks up to trade with you. You end up on your high ground, and then you magnetic field, right?
Yeah.
So like, why does this not work? And it's a very I know it's a very stupid question, but why doesn't this work?
I want him on my high ground, don't I?
Well, yeah. So I mean, the bit I was just looking for he just walks away. You know, you magnetic field, he
Yeah.
walks away,
Yeah.
and then now you have 20
Mm.
seconds where you have nothing to fight him with, right?
Yeah.
And so, first of all, corrosion is going to help you by making it more difficult for them to walk away, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can get more value out of your magnetic field. But also, you're right that I think that you're sort of using magnetic field too soon. Um, you want to use magnetic field in a situation where either them walking away from you is bad or them getting inside the magnetic field is also bad. And so that's what we're going to try to set up. We're going to try to have situations where both of those options are bad. And
Okay.
so corrosion is going to help us deal with the first option of them walking away. You'll be able to get more value out of them walking away because they're going to have to spend more time inside of your attack range and you can chase them more. um Also, if we wait for them to get closer to us, like you said, if you bait him to go on your high ground and then you use magnetic field, then it's going to you're going to get more value because walking away is scarier, right?
Mm. And
So
also, like the creeps are not on my high ground here.
mm-hmm,
Like he walks up. I feel like this is a thing that I struggle with a lot, like the creep equilibrium,
mm-hmm,
because the creeps are not like in a good position for me here to trade
mm-hmm.
at all. Because if he can just do this, and I
Yeah,
and like yeah.
yep, yep, I agree, and we'll talk about that in a second. I just want to
Okay.
finish talking about magnetic field first.
Yeah.
um
Sorry.
and so basically when you're using magnetic field against Huskar, um you basically want to make him commit onto you, and you want to bait him. You want to bait the ideal position is where you can magnetic field yourself under tower so that if he enters the magnetic field he has to take tower shots. But you also
Okay.
want him to be close enough so that if he walks away then he takes a bunch of damage. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I
So
think here you're just using it too early. Like I like that you're using it under tower, but you're not giving him the chance. Look, what the fuck is going on with these creeps, man? Um, you're not giving him the chance to commit onto you, and that's what you want. You want him to base
yeah.
it to again to make either option bad. If he walks away, it's bad because he's too close.
Mm.
If he walks in, it's bad because he's now under tower.
So is it fair to say like you want him to like be more committed to
Yes,
like you want to like bait him to be further in where he feels like, oh, this is a good trade. Oh shit, it isn't, sort of thing.
exactly,
Like
exactly, exactly,
you want
exactly.
him to be like more committed to killing me than like he thinks he can do these trades, but like you wanted to essentially bait him into
Yes,
an, uh,
exactly. And so,
mm,
this is an example of the other one where you have baited him into committing, but
yeah,
you haven't placed your magnetic field under tower, right?
true.
So here you bait him in. This is good. Well, I mean, I think you still probably could have pulled back a little bit more, but you are under tower, and if you place your magnetic field back here, then he can't hit you then, and then he has to back
True.
off.
True.
And probably again, if you put it back here, then he would be able to run away easier. So you would still probably want to bait him in earlier, or bait him in more, um, so that that's not a problem. But yeah, does that make
But
sense?
absolutely. Would you recommend, because I'm a quick caster,
Mm-hmm.
would you recommend the bubble to be not quick cast? Because quick casting is, I think it is hard to like not quick cast in like the late game when you're arc, because you
Mm-hmm.
have like a lot of buttons to press and you want to get it out fast.
Yeah, so
But
I
I
would.
feel like I kind of get fucked by this by being a quick caster in the early game. Like,
Yeah, so first of all, maybe you aren't aware of this, so you can actually choose. First of all, you should definitely do this. You should have unit specific hotkeys. So
yeah,
my Arc Warden is not the same as my Invoker, for example. But you can
yeah,
also have, like, here you can see all of my other spells are quick cast except for Magnetic Field. Magnetic Field is not
yeah.
quick cast; it's the only one.
Mm,
And that's the reason, because it is very important, specifically with magnetic field, to be able to see the precise area of effect, so that you can place it just barely, so that you're inside of it, but
mm,
but still inside of it, obviously.
mm. Okay, I will change that.
Yeah,
Thanks.
that's very important. Um, I did for a while have magnetic field on quick cast, and I'm like, oh, I'll just get good and just like memorize magnetic field area, and it just I never got there, it
Yeah,
just never ended
yeah.
up working.
It's hard
Yeah.
to quick cast it correctly, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And you can lose lanes because of like not magnetic field correctly,
Yep,
I feel like.
exactly. Exactly, I agree. Okay, so we talked about corrosion, so Huskar, and specifically the starting items I would go against Huskar is I would start with Blightstone, and then I would immediately basically you're going to have Spark Wraith at level you're gonna have Spark Wraith at level 1 anyway, so you're not gonna need the slow. And the Blightstone is going to make your trading really, really good against him, and you just want to. So I usually go against Huskar, Blightstone, 4 Iron Branches, and then Tangos. Um, or sorry, Blightstone, 3 Iron Branches. You want 1 Fairy Fire because of Huskar things. He wants to all in you, so having the Fairy Fire
Mm,
is really good. But
mm,
Blightstone, 3 Iron Branches, one Fairy Fire, and then 1 set of Tangos, and then you want to immediately ship out the Orb of Frost, so that at level 2, which is the earliest that you can get Magnetic Field, that you have that slow, so that you can do what we're talking about. If you don't have Orb of Frost, it just becomes very difficult to set up good trades against him. And then
sounds
of
good.
course you want to get your corrosion immediately, and then you want to get boots. Um, and once you get corrosion and boots, um, it's going to be very difficult for him to trade into you, because even if he has boots, you still have the corrosion, and so you're going to have the movement speed advantage, and so you can kind of do that thing where you hit him, and also you have longer attack range. So like you hit him, he walks up to get in range, and then you walk back a little bit. You're kiting him, and then you hit him
Mm.
again, and then he's like, ah, fuck this guy, and he like tries to get a little bit closer, and that's how you set up those good magnetic fields. Or you do all that, and then he doesn't come in, and then it's like, oh, okay, then I got like 3 free hits on him. Nice, I'm happy with that.
You need to be a little bit sneaky, is what you're
Mm-hmm.
saying as well. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Would you toss in an extra Wraith Band?
No.
No.
No, just because
Like
I mean,
after.
so like yeah, we can like oh yeah, I got corrosion and then I got boots and then let's buy another wraith band. Like another wraith band would make you stronger in the lane. And if you bought another wraith band, that would also make you stronger in the lane. And then what if you bought another wraith band and then I bought treads? Like holy shit, dude! Like I'm like this guy's never diving me. It's like okay, cool, bro. What about the Midas though? Like we
Okay.
can keep. I mentioned this in my laning video. You want to buy as many items that you need to win the lane and not an item more. Um,
Okay.
and in my experience, boots corrosion, and then you can still get the glove of haste, right? I mean that's going to build into the Midas, and that's also very nice to have in the lane. But I
Mm,
think that more than that tends to be then you're like overcommitting. You're not, then you're
mm,
slowing down your Midas timing. I think you'll
mm,
find that when you're playing against Huskar, what like the first of all the corrosion is a game changer. It makes the lane feel so nice because you can just kite
mm,
him. And then eventually they get mad and they're like, "Fuck this guy, I'm diving him." And then you use your magnetic field like we've been talking about, and then he dies. That's what always happens for me at least. Um,
mm,
and then at that point you're winning the lane, and then you start building your normal items. You get your Midas. So you can always buy more items, and that'll make the lane even easier. But you always want to be thinking like, you know, do I have enough items? Am I good? Can I stop buying laning items now? And you again never want to. You always want to buy as few laning items as possible. Um, Unfortunately, Arc Warden, unlike other heroes in the game, like Quap, you can make the justification that like, oh, I'll buy another Null Talisman because it'll help me
mm,
in my side lanes, like when I'm trying to make plays, it'll help me survive better. But Arc Warden, it just you don't make use of these after the laning phase because you don't
mm,
make plays. Um, and oftentimes those stats don't even matter in those situations because Arc Warden has no mobility, he doesn't have any defensive options. Um, so yeah, I think you just want to be very careful about. I'm saying this because I've so many times I bought too many stat items and I'm like, oh my god, I
yeah.
don't have Midas
Uh,
now.
but I get the like the from your experience like slowing down your timings is very bad on a hero
Mm-hmm.
like Arc
Mm-hmm.
because you need to get strong and you need to get strong fast sort of thing.
Yes. Yeah, the hero doesn't do anything without items,
Mm,
and so you gotta get them.
mm,
You mentioned earlier about creep aggro. So we can talk a little bit about that as well, because I think this lane was, or this game was, looks like it kind of spiraled out of control in the lane.
mm,
I do think that with corrosion boots, this lane would have felt a lot easier, and I actually think that I still sometimes lose lane to Huskar because it is temperamental, but yeah, like it happens. Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's a it can go either way. I do think it's Arc Warden favored, but you have to know what you're doing, and
Yep.
sometimes like they get too many denies or something like that, and it just can go weird. If he gets his ultimate before you, things can
Yeah.
still go poorly. Where he just dives you. You kind of need to have two magnetic fields if he has his what is this called, inner fire, because he can push you out of magnetic field. Um, but I think
Oh
that you
yeah.
probably, looking at this Huskar, like I think you definitely could have won this lane. Like these times where he just like goes all in on you, are very exploitable. Um, so talking about creep
Had I bought the right
equilibrium,
items.
yeah, exactly.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
and so I think no matter what, this he shouldn't be able to take your tower at least. Like maybe you don't stomp him, but maybe it shouldn't really get to a point where he can just like dive you under tower for free and just survive. I think like worst case scenario when you're playing against Huskar, you know what you're doing. Um, then like what you should be concerned, like the worst possible thing that happens is he dives you under tower and you both kill each other. That's like
mm.
but you can still use that to protect your tower, where it's like, all right, bro, fucking dive me, and then he dives you, you kill each other, and it's like, okay, glad that we accomplished this. It's very, very good. um but yeah, so creep equilibrium. So tell me what you know about creep equilibrium.
Uh, I mean, you can right click enemy hero anywhere on the map if you're within the right range. And I think this is hard on Arc Warden because he will likes to stand far back, and it's hard to
Mm-hmm.
like drag the creep wave back.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if like you're against Huskar, like it's hard to drag the wave back, I think. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I also get the feeling, especially on Arc, that the block is mega important so that you can
It
secure
is.
your level one.
Yep.
It's like game decisive. I feel like
Yes.
if you don't, then the Quap gets if Quap gets a good block, you don't. She gets a level two. She daggers you. You're fucked basically. Um, but
Yeah.
I somehow feel like I forget that I can like pull and block a bit more. Like if I pushed it, I can get the creep way around. Like these sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like walk back and block more to like prioritize to have the creeps on my high ground. I don't know. That's
Okay. Yeah, you've said a lot of good things, and I agree with you. I don't think you've said anything incorrect. But let's kind of organize these concepts a bit. So creep equilibrium, term creep equilibrium, that just refers to the position around which the creeps stop to fight each other. That's all the creep equilibrium is. Now, all the things that you're talking about is how to manage it, how to manipulate it, and that's very important. But whenever you're thinking about creep equilibrium and just in any lane, the first thing to ask yourself is where do I want the creep equilibrium to be? And it depends on the matchup. It depends what hero you're playing. It depends who you're playing against. But that's like the first thing that you have to understand. You have to have in your head like where do I want the creeps to be? Do I want? And I think there's kind of five main positions. It can be under your tower. It can be on your high ground. It can be in the middle of the river. It can be on his high ground, or it can be under his tower, right? Those are kind of like the five main positions I think the equilibrium can be. And you need to figure out where you want it to be first, okay? So when like, when you're standing over here, you're like, I don't know, thinking about whatever, I don't know, whatever it is. You're standing here waiting for the creeps to spawn. Um I want you to think about like where do I want the creep equilibrium to be? And then I want you
mm,
to keep that target in mind. Like because oftentimes it won't be there, but whenever it isn't there, you need to start thinking about how I'm going to get it there. But I think a lot
mm.
of people don't even have the thought of like where do I want it to be in the first place. And if you're
Yep.
not thinking about where you want it to be, then you're definitely not going to be able to get it there.
Yep. I feel like that's a lot of what happens in my games, truthfully. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, now they're here, now they're not. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, very good
Okay.
point.
So let's think about it against Huskar. Where do you want the creep equilibrium to be?
Under my tower. Or at least like maybe on like slightly above the staircase,
Mm-hmm.
almost.
Yeah, on your high ground or
Uh,
under your tower. I think those are both good options. I think I would be happy with either of those. Probably against Huskar. So I think you're right. Against Huskar, the really basically the most important thing is you really 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 do not want it to be on his high ground. That is like
yeah,
the worst
yeah,
possible case scenario. So like
yeah.
at all costs prevent that from happening. Um,
Mm,
it's okay if it's under his tower, that's fine because it'll push the way back into you. But you can't let it be on his high ground. That's just you can't do that. Not if you do that, it's the lane starts spiraling for sure.
yeah.
Um,
Then he's a level ahead of you, and you can't like it feels impossible
right,
to trade.
right. So I think that's the most important thing against Huskar in particular. Again, these kinds of things depend on the matchup. You're right that on Arc Warden the first wave block is really important. Probably more important than any other hero in the game, specifically because with Spark Wraith, basically, if you want to use Spark Wraith to harass an enemy hero on the first wave, the enemy ranged creep can't be on their stairs. If it's on their stairs, you just can't use Spark Wraith to harass them. That's just how it is. Unless you kill the range creep proactively. Um, but for now, we'll just say like yeah, it's super important. It doesn't mean that the lane is over, but like against Storm Spirits, I've experienced that like if I get a good block, it's like he's playing against Viper. If I don't get a good
Mm.
block, it's like he's playing against like Invoker. Like this lane is still not easy, but it's like it's not that hard. But if I get a good block, bro, like that guy's dying level 1 kind of shit.
Mm. Mm.
Um, or he's getting like 4 denies. So you're absolutely right about that. So let's take a look here. So first wave, I think it's pretty good. You harass him down. For some reason, Slark is here,
Or
denying
denying
range kick.
the.
This is I've never seen this before. Specifically, the support Slark is hilarious. I love that. And Disruptors here. It's the fucking Goon Squad mid. Um, so things are looking good. You're getting your last hits. Sort of. It's fine though. And Disruptor.
Sorta.
This is okay. I would personally be very upset if a support did this because I think like your level 1 and 2 against Huskar are like probably really important because um you want to pressure him hard before he gets level 2, for example. Like that's really important.
Mm.
Um but you know, this is okay. End up taking some damage, but whatever. Groups are back here, so probably next wave is going to be under your tower, and it's going to push into him. So far this is looking good. I think this is fine. And then Huskar does this. I'm fine with this.
Mm.
Because if I again like if I'm in the situation, I'm playing for my corrosion timing, and so if he wants to like give me time to get my corrosion, I'm happy with that.
Mm.
And then okay,
Oh,
so
so
let's
that's what you
see.
also have in your back head, like when the corrosion hits, I'm gonna fuck you up, sort of thing.
Yes,
Like that's what
exactly.
you have in. Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
that's definitely one of the finer. I don't talk about that a lot because that's definitely one of the finer nuances of the lane. Something that takes a lot of time to develop is not just knowledge about like you know, I think level 1 is like knowing that puck is or knowing that you know, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example. Like I guess knowing that Viper is good against Storm Spirit, and then
Mm.
level 2 is like knowing why Viper is good against Storm Spirit, and then level
Yeah.
3 is knowing exactly like when it is that Viper and Storm Spirit have timing against each other. That's not a great example because Storm Spirit never has a timing against Viper. Um,
Yeah. No, but
but
I understand you're talking a lot about this, like when should I trade with my Arc Warden?
yes,
Like when
yes,
and you have like and these micro timings, I guess. Micro
yes.
timings are good. Like I now have a Wraith Band and a bottle, whatever. I'm
Mm-hmm.
very strong. I'm gonna like hit you hard. That is that like what you're getting at?
Yes. Yeah, so for example in Huskar, I'm always thinking I'm thinking Huskar level 1, he's a fucking potato. Like this guy can't do
Mm.
anything. He doesn't have berserker's blood. He has no armor. I have a blightstone theoretically. You have to I'm telling you, bro, there's no better feeling than hitting a Huskar with a fucking blightstone at level 1. It does like a fifth of his health with each auto attack. It's
Ooh,
insane.
oof,
Um
oof.
like so level 1 you just start Huskars are also like fucking morons, all of them. And so
Mm.
they walk up, he's like, I'm gonna fucking burning spear you, and then you're like, bro, watch this, and then you like start throwing blightstone attacks, and he's like, oh shit, bro, I'm dead. I'm actually dead. So that's the first time I'm thinking I got my blightstone level 1. I'm beating the fucking shit out of him. I'm making sure I get a good block so I can spam spark rates as well.
Mm.
And off, I have very frequently killed Huskar at level 1 for that reason. It kind of depends on them not knowing what's going on, but I think
Yeah.
probably you can expect that in this bracket. Um,
Mm.
and so that's the first thing. And then once he gets level 2, things are a little bit harder. Because if you harass him down a lot at level 1 and then he gets level 2, he starts regenning up and he starts dealing a lot of damage if he's like at, you know, 20% HP. So you have to be a little
Mm.
bit careful. So level 2, and then your next timing is going to be corrosion. So you kind of chill a little bit. Like, yeah, you can still trade with him a bit, use some magnetic field, timing, stuff like that, but
Mm.
you want to conserve your resources until you have corrosion, and then once you have
Mm.
corrosion you just go, like you just
Mm.
fucking you basically just hit him, you just spam attacks on him, and then when he walks up to you it's like, all right bro, come get me, and then you run back and you
Mm.
kite him because you're faster than him because he has corrosion on him, and then if he
Mhm.
commits you magnetic field, if he doesn't then you just keep beating the shit out of him. um but
That sounds like a lot of fun too.
Yes, but admittedly, like these things are things that like you know you have to. These are the finer details of the lane of knowing exactly when you're
Yeah.
strong and things like that. And so, um, you know, it's great if you want to start thinking about these things and pushing yourself to understand these things. That's great, but also
Mm.
don't beat yourself up if if you can't figure these things out because um like
Mm.
it just you have to play a lot of games against Huskar to understand these things and come up with these things for yourself. I guess. But you should definitely start thinking about it for sure. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's how you become a really good mid laner, is knowing these specific things, and like you
Mm,
catch people off guard because like they're like, oh, I picked Storm Spirit against Arc Warden, I counterpicked him, and you're
mm,
like, yeah, bro.
mm.
For sure, dude.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And then they're like, what? How is he killing me? I have ball lightning. It's like,
yeah.
yes, that's your ultimate though, you fucking clown. You don't for until you get level 6, you're in my domain, bro. You don't get to play the game. you know but
Yeah.
you have to understand that, like you have to understand that in order to punish those
Mm,
situations.
mm.
So anyways,
And I
got a little off
yeah,
track, but let's finish talking about creep equilibrium. So looking back here, so there's this kind of weird thing that happens where I think it was right here. Yeah, so here we go. Okay, so here creeps are he's holding these creeps back here. That's what
yeah,
happened. And that's because he dragged them.
yeah.
Okay, he drags these creeps.
He drags them all the way. Yeah, kills the range, then goes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So this can still work though. But this is our nightmare scenario where there's like where the creeps aren't as high ground. I think it's a good idea to go for that water rune because this wave is gonna be hard anyway, so you're kind of just like, I'll get some value anyways, good.
Mm.
Um just a small thing. I think it ends up being better if you leave the bracer in your backpack when you take
Really?
a water rune. Yeah, just because of your innate, because it's percentage based. But
Ah, okay. Yeah, shit.
I don't really
Mm.
know exactly how it works, but someone made a post in the Discord, and so I'm like, oh, okay. They it seems like they had some good math, and so I believe them. Um,
Mm.
but
So
yeah,
okay, good point.
but things. So this is, I think, actually what you do here is exactly what you should do when the creeps aren't as high ground. Uh, Specifically in this situation, because you have the creep advantage. So if he goes on you, I guess it doesn't really work because of Burning Spear, because Burning Spear doesn't draw aggro. But yeah, this is just a little bit unfortunate. So let's think about in this situation, like how can we fix it? Well, I guess he just fucking does this, which is good for us. Okay,
Uh,
so
but
we're
then I
good.
also like grief myself with these double braces is what I'm understanding because I'm killing my own lane, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like all these timings that we're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not
Uh,
I'm not really thinking about because like we already talked about that. So yes, the
yeah.
bracers
So
big
yeah, true.
problem, but
Yeah, yeah,
um, you know, there's also other stuff to talk about here.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Let's.
so right here, what's your analysis of the lane? Where do you want it to be?
The creeps, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Here I feel like I can bait them up. Like he has double range creep. Like they're gonna push onto me.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
So you're happy with
I don't
this?
have to be. Yeah, I'm happy with this. This
Mm-hmm.
looks pretty decent.
Yeah, so I think it makes sense. Like I would just play for this. I think like trading with him here, if you had corrosion, fine. But in this
Mm.
situation, not good because let's see, did you get this? Okay, yeah, so that's good. So this is good. You get that last hit, and then you just wait for these creeps to push into you, which is good. So everything is fine here. Yeah, so like this is a
This
good
is a
position.
big
You just
blunder.
misplayed.
Uh, yeah,
Um, like I think the creep equilibrium here is fine. You just didn't cast your spells properly. So,
yeah.
um,
I could have killed him there probably. Like still, if I had.
yes, yes.
Uh,
Um, yeah. I don't know. I mean, things are looking. I think creep equilibrium. Maybe not. Maybe you weren't intentionally manipulating it in this way, but it ends up being fine. Um, like
I was not like triple supports walking in.
yeah, but he's pushing it into you for some reason. So
Yeah.
I think things are fine here. So maybe I'll just say,
Mm.
the main. Let's see. This one, that one. What the fuck? I just realized there's a star sticker on my. Wait, there's multiple star stickers on my ceiling. What the fuck? Anyways, I wonder if they painted over. That's weird. Um, I never noticed that before. Um, so the
Kill it.
main the main ways to sorry, this is like my third coaching session today, so I'm a little bit distracted. Um,
Wow.
but the main ways that you can control creep equilibrium ranked from uh most like easy to execute to least easy to execute. So first of all, you can just push the wave. Like you just auto attack it and that'll push it into them. So that's pretty straightforward. If you're playing a hero that isn't Arc Warden and has like some kind of like AoE nuke, that's another way that you can push the wave. Like Puck, for example, you just if you orb the wave, you push it into them. That's just how it works.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
so anything like that. So if you want the wave to go into them, um, there aren't that many heroes that like prefer the wave to be on their high ground. Like that's not what you would ever want to do. But there are heroes who, again, who don't like having the creeps under their tower. So for example, Invoker level 1, that guy hates having creeps under his tower because he's super low armor and his attack
Mhm.
damage is not that good. And so,
Mm.
first of all, very difficult for him to CS under tower, and second of all, you can just beat the shit out of him because he's like
Ah.
trying to worry about creeps, like, oh my god, I need the last hit, and then you're just like fucking throwing shit at him. Um, so that's a situation where it's like where you would want to push the creeps in at level 1 is against Invoker. And that's how you would do it. You can also, if you want the creeps to be under your tower or you want them to push back into you, ironically, pushing the wave into their tower will help you achieve that. Not on that wave, but the next wave will push into you because if you push the creeps into their tower, the next wave will be caught under their tower and then it will die to the tower and push back into you. Does that make sense?
Let's go through that. So the first, I push in the creep wave, then my creep, then they meet under the tower. Where do they meet after that? They meet
Yeah, so
if
you
no
push
blocking involved.
you
Uh,
push the you push wave number 1 under their tower. Wave number 2 meets under their tower, so the tower quickly kills your creeps, leaving some of their creeps remaining. That will push the next wave into you.
Good. Okay.
And
That
then
sounds easy to do. Yeah.
if you want an ideal situation is that then you tank the creeps outside of your tower to hold them there. So
Yeah.
and then you wait for them to meet. Usually early on in the lane that won't work because the enemy mid laner doesn't have anything better to do than to hit you, and that's like how you would prevent that. So like if you don't want someone, if they're doing that and you don't want them to do it, you just start harassing them and then it's a bad trade for them. um
Mm.
and so early on that usually doesn't work. Like that's not really going to work at level 1 or level 2, but like later on like if they're going for a rune or something like that, they're doing some other shit. Like that's what happened with this Huskar here, like when he caught the wave here and then he basically tanked it out here and then pulled it here because you were going for the rune. That's what happened.
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
but even if you don't like if that's not an option, then you can just pull it under your tower, and then you might notice that an interesting thing happens. Well, what if the creeps go under your tower? Well, then your tower's going to
Yeah.
push it into theirs. And as long as no one interferes, the waves are just going to bounce back and forth. And that's actually a very important behavior to understand because
Mm.
that's what you want if you're playing against heroes that love static equilibrium, that love to just have the creeps in the middle of the river so that they can just
Mm.
hit you, like heroes like Viper, Queen of Pain with Shadow Strike build, Huskar if you're a melee hero, stuff like that. Like these heroes who just want to fucking throw spells and attack modifiers at you and don't fuck with the creep equilibrium. Whenever
Yeah.
I'm playing against Viper, any hero, because there's no hero that really counters Viper, um, except for like maybe Sniper, for example.
Mm.
Basically, any
Mm.
hero that I'm playing against Viper, this is what I try to do. I just try to make the creeps bounce between the tower because um,
Ah.
half of the time he's going to be under my tower, and it's going to be a little bit more. If he tries to kill me, then I have someone can just TP. And if the creeps are under his tower, it's still good for me because he's distracted with last hitting and he's tanking creeps as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
then you have
that's
runes too. Uh,
yes, exactly. And so that's another thing that is a if you weren't playing Arc Warden, that's another thing that is an easy way to deal with Huskar is to just bounce the creep waves, um, just to let them go back and forth. He tanks. Sometimes he's tanking creeps in last hitting, and then sometimes you're under tower last hitting, and it's like not ideal, but like also fine.
Mm.
So that's one thing that you can do. Um, and I think, and again, remember that you can at any time you can also break that cycle by tanking creeps if they ever give you the opportunity to. And you also should watch for them to tank the creeps. Um,
Yeah.
you
That's the
also
thing that
sorry, you go.
that's the thing that I struggle with because the hero's movement speed is so slow.
Hmm?
I feel like I kind of walk into the trades, but the creeps like I have like three melee creeps attacking me, and
Mm-hmm.
I end up like losing because my hero is just so slow, going this back and forth in this trading. Like, so I end up having like creeps damaging me more than I like think that it will because I'm like so slow. Um, I
Mm-hmm.
I right click on the enemy hero, the creeps like start to attack me, and I haven't even like started attacking because my hero is like slowly walking up to the other thing, and then I
Yeah.
take damage walking away. That sort of. I feel like that's another like aspect of difficulty with Dark Warden is like his very slow movement speed.
Yeah.
Does this like ring a bell? Like something makes sense?
Yeah, so first of all, a thing to note is that you the creeps only aggro to you if you right click on an enemy hero, right?
Yeah,
So if you're
yeah, yeah,
saying if you're saying that I'm tanking creeps before I even get an attack off, well probably you need to walk in range of the enemy hero before you attack them. Like
okay.
you can
But
just move there. You know what I mean? Like instead of right clicking
yeah, I'm
them to move
attacking
on to
too
them,
too soon. Yeah.
yeah, you walk close enough to them to so that they're inside your attack range, and then you right click them. So that's one thing. Also, you know, there's I mean, we could spend another hour talking about how to
Yeah,
condition
yeah,
good
yeah,
trades. And so what you're
yeah.
talking about is absolutely right that creeps deal a lot of damage early on, and one skill of being a good mid laner is like how to use creeps to set up good trades and notice
Yeah.
when there are bad trades. So like if the creeps are pushing into you, like there's just like three creeps running at you, not this is not a good time to start trading, right? Because they're just gonna
Yeah.
run at you. But if you have three creeps running into them, oh now this is interesting because
Mm,
now I just get to hit them for free. Don't have to worry about creeps hitting me. And then
mm.
if the enemies hit me back, then they take extra creep damage.
Would you
Um,
say that you're always looking at like the amount of creeps in the wave for trades? Like do you look at this a lot?
I mean, it's not. I'm not like sitting there like one, two, three. Oh, there's three creeps. You know, it's but like but I am thinking about it. Like it's I think at this point it's sort of an intuitive thing where I'm like where like there are just trades where that just feel bad, and it's because they have a bunch of creeps. You know, like I see a double wave
Mm,
pushing into me, I just start feeling like I gotta play passive. Like I just can't click on them. I'm gonna take a shit ton of damage if I do. So it's definitely something I'm paying attention to. But I'm not like, oh, you know, three creeps. They like if I have three, they have two. Oh, time to hit them. You know, because there's also a lot of other factors like high ground. Are my spells up?
mm, mm,
Sometimes like there's also like if you have a bottle, like sometimes you just want to take any trade because you have like a full HP pool and you have a full bottle. It's like, well, okay, I got to spend some of my health here. Um, and so you just like start beating the shit out of them, even though you're like, you know, they're dealing twice as much damage as you're taking, or as you're dealing. Then it's like, yeah, fine, but I have like a full bottle I want to use anyway. So um, there's a lot of things that can affect it, I guess, that makes things complicated, but it's definitely something to be aware of. Um,
mm,
whenever you see whenever you see someone killing a hero or like trading against a hero like Huskar or Viper or something like this, like lanes that are losing, like uh like let's say you're playing Void Spirit versus Huskar, like this is a really bad lane. The only time that you would
mm,
ever trade against that guy is if your creeps are pushing. And so like that's what
mm,
I would be thinking of doing is like first of all, I want to try to make it so that the creeps are bouncing back and forth between my tower. Second of all,
Mm.
I want to look. That's my time to trade. Is when my tower has just pushed the creeps. I use an Aether Remnant, catch him, and then now there's like 3 creeps hitting him and me. That's the only time that he doesn't want to actually hit me back. And if he does, I'm gonna win the trade.
Very, very helpful. Thanks.
So yeah, I mean, there's so many things that you can talk about with creep
Yeah.
equilibrium, how to control it, and stuff like that. So hopefully this is enough to get you thinking about it, and you can start um, noticing different ways to manipulate it and different, um, and also have a good idea of like being able to notice like where you even want it. That's like the first step is like um, being able to figure out where you want the creep equilibrium. And actually, like this is just as important when you're playing a difficult matchup as it is when you're playing a good matchup. You know, like trying to fuck with like if you're the Huskar and you're playing against Void Spirit, you also need to think about like where like I want the creeps on my high ground. How do I do that? Oh, I can push it into his tower and then tank the creeps. Um,
Mm.
and if you just like if you don't care about creep equilibrium, then and he is controlling it, then like you're suddenly he gets 6 first. You're like, what the fuck happened, bro? I feel like I should be winning this
Mm.
matchup, and this guy has
Mm.
like 30 CS at 5 minutes.
Mm.
So it's like it's important in both scenarios for sure.
Mm. Mm. And I mean, for this game, like, I mean, it's a Huskar game. I lost mid, but both of my side lanes are also losing. So the game is like extremely hard.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, uh, and
Nice
yeah,
little
like,
rotation.
and it's a lot of things that happens. Like, if you don't win your lane, I feel like if
Mm-hmm.
you don't win your lane, you're like almost responsible because like you need to be the one that sort of make sure that you carry basically.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just
Yeah, and
I mean
on
that's what
Arc
happened to
Warden,
Lemmy.
I was
Yeah.
talking to the last guy about this. On Arc Warden, also your rotations are dog shit. Um, and so
Yeah.
like you're saying, like you gotta at least win your lane. Like you can't
Yeah.
it's really frustrating. Where like you have this. It's not the end of the world, but like
Oh.
if I see my Arc Warden mid and he's unleashed upon the world a level 10 Huskar at 5 minutes, and you're like, oh my god, dude, and he's like with his Midas in the jungle, you're like, you fucking fuck you, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what
Yeah.
have you done? This monster that you've created. You should at least. Um, I think Arc Warden is a very strong laner, and I think that and as except for very specific situations, you should definitely be able to win your lane, and as a result,
Would
like
you ever
that's your like impact. That's your instead of rotating, you're like you lock down the mid lane in a sense.
would you ever like consider the other facets to make your rotations a bit more powerful? Like because
Mm-hmm.
you have a level 6 going in then like with an arcane,
Mm-hmm.
like like
Yes.
you have a lot more like stats because you're maybe building an axe like and you're not like having like a boots of travel thing, like you know what I mean, like you're
I
building
think
more stats items,
yes.
you have an arcane rune on your like on your replica, you're pretty strong, like yeah, you can do some shit.
I think conceptually you make a good point. Unfortunately, one arcane rune on your Tempest double comes out to be about 2 extra spark wraiths. Um, so in practice, I think it just doesn't do enough. If your
Okay.
if your rune infusion was haste at level 1 or invis at level 1,
Yeah.
I could see it.
Yeah.
But an arcane
Mm.
rune, it seems really good, except for the fact that you have no items, and
Yeah.
Flux has a 16 set. Like you only get 2 fluxes anyways. Um, it doesn't put you
Mm.
to 3 or anything. And then it's like, oh, I get an extra 2 spark rates. Well, now this changes things. Like, you're still a 200 movement speed hero with no mobility, which has always been the problem.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have
Def-
to head out now to
Yeah,
meet
of
with
course.
another
Yeah.
guy.
Sorry. Yeah, taking your time.
But if you want to meet up again, you know, I would encourage you to try to practice the things that I think we talked about a lot of stuff, and so I would encourage you to
Yeah.
practice them and start thinking about these things. And then maybe we can meet up again if you want.
I mean, I can. I now I feel like I have a lot of direction for my Arc Warden.
Awesome.
I feel like there's a lot of things that I'm looking at now with a lot more like sense of purpose and control.
Good.
Uh, so I feel like feel more like hopeful that I can like do better in the lanes.
Mm-hmm.
So I can. I mean, I can practice for a bit, and then maybe I can hit you up and say, like, in a few weeks' time, and say, this is what I worked on. This is what I'm trying to do. What do you think about this? And
Sounds
then you
good.
can like do whatever you want with that if you want to like approach that or not. Like,
Cool. Yeah, it sounds like a good plan.
yeah, uh, yeah. Okay, I won't take up any more of your time. Thanks a lot. It was very helpful.
Yeah, of course.
Mm.
Good luck in your games, and I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.